what's good? It's your girl, L to the D to the L to the D to the L to the D to the Ladessa. What's good? How you doing? Just so you know, I miss you. I miss you. I cannot wait. I can barely concentrate during the day because I'm always thinking about an opportunity to speak with you. So I'm so glad you're here. This look today is brought to you by the Mac and Aaliyah collection. This is the palette, and on my lips I lined it with Plum by Mac and her lipstick called Try Again. So we're gonna dust ourselves off and try this thing again. All right, so what are we talking about today? Love is episode 1, nope, season 1. Love is season see, it's like a new relationship, this thing you and I have. I get so flustered and butterflies all in my stomach, my tongue gets twisted, but anyway, here we are. Season 1, episode 3, Love is on OWN. It is the story of Mara Brock Akil and her husband Salim Akil. One thing that that I've forgot to mention during my reviews is the way that they have this show set up. So the older versions of Nuri and Yasir are telling their story. So it's an interview process. They're being interviewed, and they have two older characters playing Nuri and Yasir, and as they tell the story, we get to look back at their younger selves. So it's actually really, really cool. It's actually in the same vein as the other program on OWN called Black Love, except we get to see the reenactment of the stories that they tell. So it's really, really like slick how they have it set up. And it's really refreshing to have Mara and Salim back into our fold, especially as love stories are concerned. And so I hope, like you, are hoping for a Girlfriends movie. There's so much closure we need with Girlfriends. But anyway, this is about Love Is. All right, so when we left off, Yasir and Nuri were on their first like official dress-up date, going to the Wynton Marsalis concerts in LA. And Nuri had snuck off her job because the heart wants what it wants, and for love sometimes you just and hope you don't crap out. So it's the night after the concert, and it's a lot of heavy panting and kissing and just romance going on back at Nuri's house. And it comes to Nuri that, oh shoot, we better stop this because it's Ramadan, and there should be no sexual interaction that Yasir should be having. And it's really cute because she rolls off of him and she says, oh my God, you know, it's Ramadan. She was like, well, you didn't touch my nipple, so I think we're safe. And then just being the stand-up guy that Yasir is, he says, you know what, I'm gonna fast an extra day just to be sure, you know, because Ramadan is all about getting back in touch with your discipline and kind of cleansing yourself and giving yourself, you know, that start that you need to walk this thing called life, if you walk this thing called life in the religion that is Islam or Muslim, or, you know, depending on the different sect of the faith. But anyway, so they you know, get it together and calm down, and then Yasir says, you know what, I better, you know, get out of here. So he goes out to the car and they kiss bye, and he goes out to his car and the hoopty will not start. And he has got a hoopty, Sir Mix-a-Lot fame, my hoopty, rolling, tailpipe dragging, rusted out, the whole nine, and it will not start. And Yasir is like, you know, beating on the steering wheel, and he's like, Lord, come on, you are better to me than this. You know, I don't want to show my poor man's hand right now. And he gets out being frustrated as he is, he gets out, he sits on the top of the on the hood of his car, and he just pulls out a cigarette. I don't know if you've ever smoked. I have in my past, and there's nothing like a drag. When you are like going through it, it's something that is in that cigarette that just kind of lets you be like, all right, now let's figure this thing out. So that's kind of what he's going through. And Nuri sees him from outside the window, and she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know anything about the car or anything like that. She just comes out and tells him to come back in, and she's under the impression that he doesn't want to leave just as much as she doesn't want him to leave, which I'm sure is probably the truth, but I ain't sitting out here because I don't want to leave. I'm sitting out here because I can't leave. It's basically Yasir's problem. So he comes in, they stay the night together, nothing happens, but the scene shows the different ways in which they move to get closer to each other in the bed during the night. It's really cute. The cinematography of that is really cute, and very artistic and very real to life if you are one of those people that like to sleep up under your loved one. So the next morning, Nuri is making breakfast, and she's like, I don't, am I being disrespectful? Because again, it's Ramadan, and Yasir can't eat, from sun up to sundown. He's like, no, I'm good. I'll make it through. So while they're talking, the conversation of dates come up, or who she might be dating. And she kind of blows it off like, oh, no big deal, just kind of hanging out or whatever with some people. The phone rings. And the first call that comes through, she ignores it and just like, oh, I'll just let it go to voicemail. Well, it's 1997, 98, and voicemails weren't going straight to your phone at the time. They had to come through that answering machine where everybody in the house could hear who was talking, and it's Keith. Keith is the executive at the television studio where she works, and he's talking about the trip that they're supposed to take to go skiing. And she's like, no, I'm just gonna let him know I'm not going. That's nothing, we just kind of hung out, she makes it no big deal. And he's like, whatever, you already planned to go, you can go, but you know how dudes do. He don't really want her to go, but he gotta play it cool. She's like, no, I love you. So he's like, okay. So then the phone rings again. Lord have mercy, Nuri. But she's single. She out here living her best life. She's not tied to anyone. There is no, she don't owe nobody nothing. But she now found herself in love with Yasir. So the phone rings again. It's her college boyfriend, the guy that lives in New York. And he's like, hey, I've been thinking about you. That hey big head call. Like, get out of here with that. I'm here with my man. I don't need no remnants of your foolishness in my new life. And she's like, that was my college boyfriend. It's over. I'll let him know. Do not call her anymore. I love you. And then the number question comes out. He's like, well, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, but could you give me a head count? And she's like, look, basically I'm a single woman. I was, there are people that I knew before you, but you are who I want, and I'm going, do my environmental enema and get all residue of anybody that could impede what me and you are trying to build. He's like, okay, cool. So then it's, they're just sitting there talking, and then the phone rings, and it's Nuri's best friend, Angela, the one that works at the studio with her. And she's calling her to tell her to come run interference. Well, at least come check out in case I need you to run interference on this guy that Angela met on the internet. And Nuri is like fit to be tied. Like, girl, what is your whole problem? You do not meet any guy and go out on dates with guys on the internet. The killer lives on the internet. Don't you know that? So she tells Yasir, look, I gotta go. Angela needs me. And he's like, okay, cool, whatever. So she gets in her car, and he goes to his car, and he's kind of just like waiting it out for her to pull off. And the car still wouldn't start. So he's like trying to push it, and I think it might have even been a stick because he was trying to like jump start it, but excuse me, even that wouldn't work. So then he calls this guy. He's walking. Remember, he ain't got no place to live. Now his house is broke. His house is broke down on the side of the road. And he's calling around to his friend, Sean. He's like, hey, Sean, man, I really need you. Can I use your AAA card? And Sean is like, hey, Ruby got one, but I only got one toe left on my card. I done already gave you my gym card so you can go take a shower there. I ain't got nothing for you. And I was kind of like, really? But I mean, that's, you know, real life. Sometimes you have to say no to those you love because you gotta take care of yourself. So I was kind of on Sean, but from a real life standpoint, I needed it. He probably could have said it a bit more gentler, a bit more gentle. But, you know, I guess that's how dudes talk to each other. I don't know. But anyway, so Nuri goes and meets Angela and the guy that she met on the internet down to the Home Depot. And he seems like a really nice guy. And they kind of expose the fact that Angela lied about what her career was or whatever. And Angela's really not feeling him. So she needs Nuri to run interference. Nuri runs interference by, like, hurting her ankle or something, and then that scene is over, and it's really cute, just like a little girlfriend moment. So after Sean tells Yasir, no, you can't use my AAA card, he makes his way to Ruby's house. Ruby is the longtime ex-girlfriend that Yasir moved to California to be with, or moved to LA to be with. And he's rummaging through her stuff. Basically, I know I just said he was stand up, right? But he getting ready to get her for AAA card. And she comes out and he's like, what's wrong with you? Because she's got this compression suit on. She's got drains hanging from her or whatever. And she's like, oh, I made a mistake. And she kind of collapses in his arms. And he's like, what did you do? And she's like, I got liposuction. And again, this isn't, you know, 90 something. Curves and big booties and small waists, that wasn't a thing. You needed to be pencil thin. Ruby's aspiration is to own a yoga studio. And so all of her competition on the white side of yoga, they're really thin, and, you know, all of this. You know, their frames are thin and all of that. And so she falls prey to the pressure of getting her body together so she can meet the standard of image for the line of work that she wants to be in. And he's like, why would you do that? And she's like, I need, you know, I really don't know. And you don't understand what I'm facing, but I feel like I really messed up doing this. And he's like, don't worry, I got you. So even though he was there to steal her AAA card, again, the integrity that is Yasir comes shining through. He's going to take care of her. So when, I forgot a part, well, when when Yasir left Nuri's house, they were supposed to link up for lunch later on that day. And Nuri is there, and she like ordered a sandwich, and she had to cut it in half, and she like gives, she has a little place setting for him with the other half of the sandwich. And it's just, you know, oh, just beautiful. And she's waiting, and then hold on now, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 6 hours later, she's like, well, what is going on? But this is the love of her life. So she finally leaves the cafe where they were going to meet, and she gets home, and she's on the phone frantic. She's calling police stations, she's calling hospitals, she's calling because she wants to know what is going on with her man. And while she's doing all that, her neighbor comes to the door and knocks on the door, and she's like, do you know whose car this is? And Nuri's like, what? And so then they walk outside to Yasir's car, and the lady's like, well, who is this? And she says, the man I love. And she was like, well, do you know anything about him? And the light bulb goes on with Nuri. She's like, I mean, not really. And so then she looks in the car and she could tell he's living in his car. And she says to herself, is he living in his car? And the neighbor's like, apparently. So the neighbor says, the door's unlocked. The neighbor goes in and hands Nuri the mail and says his name is Yasir. I can't remember the last name. And this is where he lives. So you know how we do. Let me see what's going on, because Nuri is already feeling, you know, some kind of way about Ruby and what the, you know, the residuals of that relationship might be. So it cuts to, while she's on her way there, it cuts to all of Yasir taking care of Ruby, like a sponge bath and, you know, all of that. And Ruby is hoping and thinking that this moment of her needing to heal from the surgery may bring them closer together and bring him back into her life. And he's like, no, I'm here for you, and I care for you, and I'm gonna hold you down, and I'm even gonna put my love and my girl on hold to take care of you because you always held me down, but ain't nothing moving. So you know, finish up your little sponge bath, get yourself together. When you get out, I'll dry you down, get you some soup, and put you back in the bed. So once he gets Ruby back together and gets her back in the bed or whatever, and the door, someone knocks on the door, and Yasir's kind of like, well, who could that be at this hour? So he goes to the door, and of course it's Nuri. And she's like, her face is really like, really? Like, this what we doing? Because she knows that it's, you know, she knows that it's Ruby's house. And she's like, what's going on? I'm worried about you. Where have you been? You know, what's going on? And he's like, look, right now is not the right time. I'll give you all of the answers that you need, just not right now. And she's like, why not? And he's like, I can't. And then he closes the door in her face. I was like, really? Like, you already opened the door and we had a conversation. Oh, girl's laid in the bed. You could step out on this balcony and let me know what's going on. And then that's the second to closing scene of the episode. And it cuts back to Nuri and Yasir as their older selves. And Yasir says something that is so, so powerful. He says, he says like this. He said, I closed the door on the woman I love for the woman who needed me. And I was just like, oh my God. And so that was the end of the scene. That was the end of the show. I mean, this show is everything. I need you to watch it. Do not let this not have a second season. Love is on Tuesdays. Check your local listings. And the cool thing about after each episode, we get commentary from either Mara or Celine. And Mara says that during that time frame that situation happened, it's loosely based on their life. Not everything is actual factual, but she says when that situation or a situation similar to that happened, she had to be mature enough to understand that there was love in his life before the love that they shared came about. And so you have to give people the time to process and compartmentalize and organize their life for that love that they once had. And I was like, this woman is just, she is a role model. Just the maturity, the independence and savvy and sass and smarts that Mara Akil is. She is one to model yourself after. So I hope you guys are watching Love Is. If you're not, go ahead and start. The other episodes are on demand. Matter of fact, episode 3 is on demand right now, so you can get all caught up. You can binge and be ready for next Tuesday. And I thank you so much for watching. I love you so much for watching. Always remember to pack light, because you know, bag lady, bag man, you are gonna hurt your back dragging all them bags like that. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.